Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Monday night nonfiction book club for post-SHTF survival. My name is Lee, and I'm the Cold War prepper. But anyhow, do me a favor, let me know. Can you see me? Can you hear me? My MacBook is about ready to give up the ghost. And so my wife has been trying to talk me into getting a new one. And I think after the experiences I've had today, with RAM and everything else, it's about time to get a new MacBook. So we'll probably do that. So can you hear me? Can you see me? Fantastic. Thank you, Scott Hummer. You aren't going to believe this. This is something that's a sign that the apocalypse is going to happen. Scott Hummer was beat out by Utah Mike as being the first one here this evening. So, and I got on, oh gosh, I was trying to change I was having problems with memory, of course, RAM. So I had a hard time uploading the default thumbnail for tonight's video or live, and I noticed that Utah Mike was here first, about 7:30ish. I know for sure he was here, and then Scott Hummer was right behind him. So I know both of them were here at 7:30 in anticipation of this evening. So welcome to both of them. Let me see here. Methane Creator, good evening, welcome. And Patricia Butler, good to see you as well. So let me tell you about Methane Creator. Here where I am, my small group has some evacuation plans. And so you want to coordinate with groups that are around you in the vicinity of you. Methane Creator is a member of the group that's north of me. So, and unfortunately, all three of these fantastic groups that are possible escape areas for us here from where I am, the one to the north, the one to the east, which is Bastrop Viking Preparedness Group, and the one to the south, which is the San Antonio group. All three of them meet the second Saturday of the month. So I kind of have to, which one I'm going to go to. I enjoy going to the one up north because I have a favorite Korean restaurant that I go to. I can stop by. Oh, I don't have my backboard behind me. I've got it over here. I just did a photo for Dr. Bones and Nurse Amy. I won some sort of a thing on their channel, and they sent me a lot of first aid supplies. So I took a picture of that, put it up on their website. I'll do a video of it. They sent me a Sam splint. I still haven't found the one I picked up to do a video. I put it down somewhere, and I have no idea where I put it down. I've torn the house apart, but now I have another Sam splint. Dr. Bones and Nurse Amy sent it to me. But anyhow, so I've got those three groups. I've got north up in the Fort Hood area. I've got east in Bastrop, and I've got south in San Antonio. I don't have anything out west across the Rio Grande. Gosh, I'm going back 55 years to when I was in high school, huh? I don't have anything across the Colorado. Let me put it that way. How's that? Okay, so where are we now? Let me get my glasses. Scott Hummer, Methane Creator, Utah Mike, Patricia Butler. Patricia, I sure hope things are going well for you. Thank you for being here. I know that it's something that's not easy for you to do, but thank you so much for being here. We do appreciate you being here. Let me see. I got to look out of the very bottom of my glasses. I think they put the bifocals in here wrong. L-Dog, good evening and welcome. Good to see you again. Thank you for giving us another chance. I'm glad that you're with us. Kaylin Strain, one of my favorite Sunday night things to go to. I was there a little bit late last night, and she did a review on my favorite MRE, which is Chili Mac. So, if those of you who are interested in Chili Mac, she kind of took 2 or 3 different meals and put them together. She confused me. I was talking about MCI. Most people call it C rations, and that was the Vietnam era meal combat individual. And there were 12 small boxes with 10 cans inside, and a 4-pack of cigarettes too, up until about 1974. But anyhow, so that was I call it the MCI meal combat individual, which is what's on the label on the box. But other people call them C-rats. C-rats just means that it's a combat ration. That is all it is. A-rats are eaten in the mess hall. They're prepared and eaten in the mess hall. B rations are prepared in the mess hall. They put them in these big mermite cans is what they call them. They got 3 inserts inside each one. Then you go out to the field and they slop that into your mess kit. and you eat that out in the field. Then you clean your mess kit in these big 55-gallon drums with immersion heaters in them. One has soap, one is a rinse, and then a second rinse. And but anyhow, that's what you do with those. So C rations are anything that the individual soldier carries themselves and eats in the field. So that's MREs are basically a C ration as well, if you get down to the technical terminology. But she was talking about MCW, which is meal cold weather, which is another one. Tammy Harder, good evening. Good to see you as well. Little Lone Prepper, Higgy Homestead. Gosh, look at all these fantastic people. Okay, just a real quick, and I was chatting with Sue Mee, and she'll be here shortly, I hope. This is what we're talking about tonight. We're doing numbers 61 through as far as we can get. Some great topics that deserve a lot of discussion. Just a quick reminder that Saturday, the 27th at 8 p.m., we'll be discussing this book, Drifters by John Grammer. This is a fiction book, and John will be on here with us as we discuss this book. So far, I'm very happy with it. Very, very good book. It really shows a lot of importance about groups and the formation of groups and how groups interact with each other. So fantastic book. I'm going to strongly recommend you be here for that. John will be here. He has given away books in the past, autographed versions, so you never know. We will see what he does. Okay, number 61. Okay, how can I survive outdoors in the winter? So the survival battle comes down to maintaining the body's core temperature. He gives 4 proven methods. Number 1, generate heat internally through the consumption and metabolizing of high-calorie food. I did not know that, so that's something I learned new with Mr. Jones's book. And the necessary water to process it. And so that fuel, that carbon, high-calorie food is going to cause your body to metabolize it in that metabolization process, kind of like a fusion reactor, okay? It's going to produce heat, internal heat. So that's, hello, Mountain Survival. Welcome. Good to see you. So you want to make sure you eat high-calorie food in the winter and keep plenty of water so that you got that internal digestive system going. Number 2, keep cold out of the body. You're going to do that several different ways. Don't eat cold food. Don't drink cold water. Be careful about your breathing. What you're doing is you're ingesting the cold air, and you can feel it in your throat sometimes. You're freezing your throat. That cold air is going into your lungs, okay? Your body then attempts to warm that air up in order to warm the blood flow up as it goes through your body. And then that air, as you exhale it, is your body temperature being let out. So you want to keep as much warm air coming into your body as possible. You can do that by wearing a mask, by wearing some sort of you're trying to get a kind of a preheater on your air as it's coming in. So you don't want to breathe that really cold weather directly into your mouth or nostrils, either one. It's not good for you. Number 3, preserve your body heat. And we do that by wrapping your body in layers. So you want insulation, and with each layer of insulation, there's a degree of warmth that's kept between that layer and the next layer. So the more layers you have, the more insulation you're going to have. So you want to make sure you have layers. Keep them warm and dry. Water is a terrible thing to have during a cold weather event, because that's all that's going to do is sap the body's ability to maintain its own heat. Think of it this way, okay? What happens to your body when you're out in the heat? You perspire, and that water on the exterior of your body begins to evaporate, and that evaporation process is your body's natural air conditioner. So it's as the water is on your body and moving away, that's what produces cooler temperatures. The same thing happens in the winter when your body gets wet. You're going through an evaporation process, and that evaporation process cools the body down. So you don't want that during the winter. You don't want, and that's another thing that you need to do to make sure that you don't freeze is don't sweat inside your clothes. So be very, very careful about how much energy you're exhausting, because that's going to produce sweat if you're doing a lot of energy, a lot of heavy duty stuff. Make sure you remove some of the layers so that you're allowing air to come in and cool your body as you're doing high stress, high energy things, chopping wood or anything like that. Take off a coat, take off a sweater, whatever. Reduce the amount of insulation that you have so that your body's cooling naturally from the outside. You're not sweating and you're not evaporating, and creating that natural air conditioner for the body. It's already cold enough outside. You don't need any more air conditioning. Yeah, it's let me see what it is here. It's 68 degrees here in Central Texas. Let me see. 50 in Wyoming, Theoxerus. Yeah, more power to you, Theoxerus. I understand that non-natives only last one winter, if even that long, in Wyoming. Between the winds and the temperatures, it can be devastating. -10 in Central. Where is that? I've got to get my glasses on. Oh, creative redundancy. No, yeah. Creative redundancy, -10. Oh my goodness gracious. I couldn't handle that. There's Sumi. Hi, Sumi. Wait, welcome. The bearskin hoodie. Don't believe him. Oh, okay. 45 in Des Moines. Windows are cracked. All right. Okay, so, and then number 4, gather heat from external sources. And that's going to be your fires, your Mr. Buddies, or your Mr. Heater buddy, my buddy, those types of things. Any kind of a flame or any kind of an electrical connection that produces some sort of warmth. That's going to be your external source of heat. The body loses heat in 5 different ways. Respiration, we already talked about that. You ingest cold air, that cools down your lungs. Of course, your lungs are the primary way that you provide the body temperature to your blood, and then your blood keeps your body warm. And down to your capillaries, which are keeping the exterior portions of your body warm, which is why you want to keep those things moving, okay? And that's going to be the arterial blood going out, the venal blood coming back, probably a degree lower. Sumi can give us a little bit of a lesson on blood flow, but anyhow, you want to have warmer blood going out to your extremities, and that's provided by the air in your lungs. Evaporation, we talked about that a little bit. Convection, think of it as when you get a hot bowl of soup and you put it on your spoon and you put it to your mouth and it's too hot, what do? You blow on it. That's convection. And so the same thing, the wind does that to your body. As the wind goes by your body, it's going to evaporate or suck off some of that warmth. So the same thing, convection. Conduction. Remember in is it a Wonderful Life? What was it? No. What is it? Where the guy who wants the BB gun goes out and sticks his tongue to the lamppost and it freezes to the lamppost. That's conduction. So anytime you grab a hold of something that is colder than you are, your body heat is being lost. Heat goes towards cold, not the other way around, okay? So you're losing your body heat towards the cold. And so you don't want to do that. Don't touch things. And the most common thing you're going to touch that's going to be cold in a survival situation is the ground. You're going to try to lay down on the ground. Now, one of the things the Native Americans did was they would place rocks around their fire, and then they would dig a hole where they were going to put their sleeping mat. They would then take the warm rocks from the fire and place them in the hole, cover the hole back up, and then those warm rocks provided a warm space for them to lay down on the ground so they weren't laying directly on the cold ground. If you have 3 layers of blanket that you're going to sleep in a survival situation, 2 layers between you and the ground, 1 layer on top. That's your best configuration. So you want to have more than 50% of all of your um, insulation below you instead of on top of you. Okay, so 50 more than 50% below, less than 50% on top. If you have a sleeping bag, make sure you have some sort of a poncho, a tarp, something that's going to provide some sort of insulation between you and the ground. Take a 55-gallon trash bag, a contractor trash bag, fill it full of leaves, put that underneath your sleeping bag. Fantastic insulation between you and the cold ground. Christmas story. Thank you, Higgy Homestead. Thank you. But anyhow, so make sure you get some sort of insulation. A air mattress is fantastic. A cot would be okay, but you still have cold air going underneath of it. So you want to have some sort of layer between you and the bottom of the cot. And then the last one is radiation. So your body radiates heat. If you take a look at an infrared radiation thing and you have clothes on, you're going to see your hands, your face, your head, your neck are going to be where you're losing body temperature. So some of the things you can do, number one, if it's cold outside, I have a Navy sailor's wool cap. I have 3 of them. I'll put a link. They have them. I'll have a link for where you can get one from Amazon. But the Navy solid wool sailor's cap, watch cap they call it, is one of the best things you can do. And then put your hoodie over that. So you're using the hoodie so that you don't have any convection loss. And then you've got the sailor's cap, the watch cap, so you don't have any conduction loss, also so you don't have any convection loss. But you're also you're reflecting that radiation back inside your body. A good warm scarf is going to be fantastic for protecting your neck against radiation loss. And the same thing, if you can wear something, a balaclava or something like that around your face and your mouth. The other thing that's going to do if you wear a balaclava is that's going to trap your exhalations so that you're warming up that balaclava. So remember, now you're pre-warming the air before it comes in, so you're not ingesting cold air, you're ingesting a slightly warmer air, and that's going to do your body a lot of good. So amen, Sumi, a good solid wool blanket. Okay, the 2 chief dangers of cold temperatures are hypothermia and frostbite. Hypothermia, the places where you can cause the quickest amount of warmth. Number one of the things you can do is get inside a sleeping bag with that person who's suffering from hypothermia, both of you completely naked. Your body warmth is then going to radiate your body warmth towards their body warmth, okay? But another thing you can do is if you have hot water bottles or you have hand warmers or something like that, place them underneath their armpits, okay? Their armpit is going to be a fantastic way to get heat into the body. You can do the same thing, placing it in their crotch. Another good place you can do it is on their carotid artery. So if you place warmth there, that will get warmth into their body. Good places to put either a hot water bottle or a hand warmer, either one. Yes, absolutely, Patty's Garden. Wool socks are fantastic. That's another place, the extremity, where you're going to lose a lot of heat, and that's where you're going to get frostbite. I'm going to say probably the most susceptible areas to frostbite are going to be your fingertips, your toes, your nose, your cheeks, and your ears. Okay? So I would say that those are probably the most common frostbite areas. So make sure you keep those covered and warm if possible, and avoid frostbite. There are some terrible pictures of both frostbite as well as trench foot from World War I that you can see on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook, on YouTube, and in various places. But that's something you really have to be careful of. That trench foot and frostbite. Make sure you protect yourself against hypothermia. So eat high-calorie foods, and that will be part of it. Greatest heat losses through the top of the head, the neck. We already talked about that. Avoid drinking alcohol as it takes heat away as it evaporates through the skin. Let me see. I underlined this with my highlighter instead of highlighting it, just because I wanted to tell you. He says, note that in extreme cold, canned food freezes solid, and even if heated over a fire, it may freeze before you can get it into your mouth. So my experience in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, they had a bee ration to us, and that's where they bring it out to the firing range. We were at the firing range at the time. They bring it out in the Mermite cans. So these are those thermos. Think of it as a big thermos with these things inside of it. And we had our mess kits. And only this time they gave us metal trays. Okay. So you know the metal trays, it's got, if you watch Kaylin Strain's Sunday night MREs, she always uses a plastic version of what we had metal. But it's got the center main meal. It's got a place for your cup, and then it's got a couple sides and a place for your knife, fork, and spoon, and all this kinds of stuff. And that's all kind of little holes in the tray. And so the first thing they gave me was they put some peas on my plate, and we had Salisbury steak, mashed potatoes, peas, hot coffee, and I can't remember what we had for dessert. I got my tray filled up. By the time I sat down at a picnic table to eat, my peas had frozen to my tray. Okay, so yes, in extreme cold weather, be very careful. So if you don't keep your food warm, it can freeze to the implement that you're using to eat out of or in or whatever. Love Son, good evening. Good to see you. Welcome. Okay, number 62. How can I make a survival kit out of common items in an emergency? He's got a lot of great common items here and how to use them. I'll get the book so you can find out how to use them. I'm going to give you a list of what he talks about that are common items that he recommends that you have. He's got 5-gallon heavy-duty trash bag, 55-gallon heavy-duty trash bags, N95 dust mist respirator, single-edge razor blade, 12 by 24-inch sheet of heavy-duty aluminum foil, 12 by 24-inch sheet of saran wrap, 12-inch length of electrical tape wound on cardboard, waterproof matches and strikers, 10-foot length of number 25 nylon fishing line, safety pins, coffee filters, sugar packets, hard candy, aspirin, and other pain relievers. So he's got a whole bunch of pages here on how to use it. You can also, now remember, the emergency blankets that they sell like at Walmart and places like that, not very expensive at all. They're definitely under $5. Those you can use as an additional insulating layer for your body, and it's going to reflect the heat back towards your body. Just be very, very careful. They don't breathe. So that's going to cause some condensation on the inside of the humidity that you're going to have trapped inside of there. So make sure you have an opening so that the condensation can get out and you don't have that condensation coming back towards your body. But if you have it a little bit of distance away from your body, that's fantastic. Use it as a reflector. One of the best ways you can use it is build a fire over here, build a lean-to here with the reflective side reflecting the heat of the fire. And now you're creating basically an oven, okay? And then put your sleeping bag underneath that lean-to. Now, it may get too hot for a while. Adjust your fire accordingly, okay? But you can also use that as a protective layer on the ground. It's going to reflect your heat back up, okay? So there's all kinds of ways you can use those reflective blankets, which are basically heavy-duty aluminum foil. Number 63, how can a survivalist avoid being overwhelmed by the challenges of a serious emergency or disaster situation? There's a lot of mental preparedness going on in this and the next couple questions. I'm going to try to summarize them all together. The survivalist must focus on just one or two effective steps in the right direction. You've got to do something and do it out of rote body memory. The way you do that is you practice, okay? So, I know that this is going to be a sensitive subject because I know there's people out there who just say, Lee, you're harping on something that we don't want. If you're going to get a ham radio, learn how to use it, okay? So for example, the Baofeng UV5R has to be I know it says it has 999 channels. Those channels have to be programmed into it. So ham at the 2 meter, 70 centimeter frequencies, which is going to be 2 meters going to be in the 140 to 150 megahertz range. 70 centimeters going to be somewhere up around 340, 350. So those are that's VHF, UHF, that the UV5R. I have a TID radio, which is the same thing, just a different manufacturer. So, you want, that's going to be duplex. Duplex means that it transmits on one frequency, receives on another. On this one, this is my Baofeng UV55, which is a GMRS radio, and it has channels. So when you turn it on, oh, this one's got a dead battery still. I haven't charged it yet. So when you turn it on, you can just say, go to channel 3, go to channel 19, whatever, and it will automatically do it. That's simplex. It transmits and receives on the same frequency. But the ham radio transmits and receives on different frequencies. It's nice if you can test that before SHTF. The way you test it is you get your technician license and get a call sign, and then hams will help you make sure that you have your squelch turned correctly, that you have everything set up correctly on your radio, that it's transmitting and receiving correctly. You've got the right antenna. I mean, there's all kinds of things that go on with that. So that's part of that practicing, okay? If you're going to get a radio, get the license and practice with it. That's just a common sense thing as far as I'm concerned. Okay, how can a survivalist be better mentally prepared for any kind of emergency or disaster? Accepting or anticipating that one may be challenged by an emergency or disaster is critical to surviving. Accepting the possibility that bad things will happen or are happening can put you well ahead of the group. There's 2 things I want you to know. Number 1, a hero today can be a coward tomorrow, and a coward today can be a hero tomorrow. Things change over time. I've seen guys, I've seen SF guys, just super duper top-notch guys who go out and do things like you would not believe and show extraordinary courage. I mean, common day courage to them is extraordinary courage for other people. And after 15, 20 years, they've had enough of it. They can't do it anymore, okay? And that's common. And I'm not of that caliber. Let me tell you, I have a friend, a good friend, who was a sergeant major of Delta Force, and like I told him, I'm not qualified to shine their boots, okay? As far as I'm concerned, as far as their skills are, but so we have to be calm, we have to be collected, we have to be understanding of each other, okay? Other people won't have it together as much as you. Help them when they're down. Just as when your turn is to go down, they will help you, okay? So make sure you form those bonds now. Who can you count on to help you when the stuff hits the fan and when the chips are down, okay? You join the group, find out what they're like, find out, can I count on this person, or are they untrustworthy? Are they going to lose it over something small? Judge their character. You need people you can lean on. They need you to lean on. I had some really good ending to my video, my last 169, video 169, tip 169. Had some good stuff. I wanted to read it to you, but I don't know what I did with it, so I won't read it to you. But anyhow, so, just realize that the best thing you can do now is start planning. What's the worst thing that can happen? Develop some plans, practice those plans, and then when it happens, you say, oh, I got this. I know what to do. This is what I got to do, step by step by step, and do it. See, catch up on the... Let me catch up on the chat here real quick. Okay, y'all are still talking about weather. What is the most important daily practice to a survivalist? Situational awareness. Know what's going on around you. Did you know that we've got a third Venezuelan tanker that's been taken by U.S. forces? How about, did you know that Russia is evacuating all of its citizens from Venezuela? Does that tell you something? I mean, think of all these things. A week ago, a week ago today, Joe Kent, the director of counterterrorism for DHS, told Congress that he knows for a fact that there are 15 to 18,000 people inside the U.S. who are either known or suspected terrorists. Start thinking about all these things. Start thinking about the possibilities. Then when they happen, it doesn't catch you off guard. You won't be in that shock of the moment. You'll know, hey, I knew this was coming. I just didn't know when. And now I'm prepared for it. And now I have a way to deal with that. On a more immediate basis, you need to develop the habit of observing and analyzing things around you and ahead of you. In the military, we call this the OODA loop, O-O-D-A, OODA, loop, L-O-O-P, but it's because it's a circle, okay? So at the top of the circle is observe, take a look. The next part at the 3 o'clock position is orient, or how does that fit into everything else that I'm aware of? How does that fit into the current situation? Does this change the current situation? How does this match with what my known knowns are? Okay, and then down below we take the orientation and we decide what's the best course of action to take, and then the A is act on that action. So OODA, OODA, orient, observe, orient, decide, act. Okay, real good book on that. I think I have it over here. Yes, here it is, Beyond OODA. Okay, which is developing the orientation for description, conflict, and violence by Argue Freeborn. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. Another real good book, not necessarily on OODA loop, but on getting your mind straight, is the book on situational awareness by Matt Kelly. So these are some exercises you can do. Just some of the things he has you do in the book. Go to the parking lot, take a look at the cars around you when you park. Let's say you go to Walmart shopping. Take a look at the cars on either side of you, the car that's in front of you in the parking lot. Observe that. Then when you come back, take a look at it again. Do you remember what was there before and what's there now? Those are little tricks you can do with your mind to start training yourself to observe things and observe what's going on. And is there something out of the normal, so that now you're training your body, you're training your mind to be aware of changes, things that are unnatural, that could be a potential threat to you. So those are some of the things you can do. Fantastic exercise book. I strongly recommend you get it. 66, what's the most important factor in surviving a fast developing survival situation? Well, that's getting from the denial to the action phase. So he doesn't talk about it here yet, but what he's talking about, there's a 4-step psychological thing that we do. The first one is we deny that something's happened to us. Okay, so let's say there's a death in the family. First thing you say, I can't believe this is not happening, right? So you're denying that event, usually a negative event, has happened. Then you deliberate and you say, well, how can that be? Okay, well, it could be, but why now? So now you're in the deliberation phase. So you've got the denial, deliberation, then you have the do, D-D-D. So the do is do something, take action. And then the final one is, decide. Third one is decide. And the fourth one is do, take action. So we've got deny, deliberate, decide, do. Okay, the 4 Ds. So he's talking about getting from the denial in the step into the deliberate step is the most important factor in surviving a fast evolving thing. So if you get your mindset now, stuff is going to happen. Bad stuff is going to happen. Some of the things you see are going to be terrible. Let me tell you, when I drove ambulances, okay, the minute we turned on that siren and left the shop, uh, the adrenaline starts flowing, and your mind, when they call in, they tell you, okay, medical emergency, heart attack, medical emergency, automobile accident, medical emergency, whatever. So your mind kind of has a basic understanding of what's going on. You're imagining the worst, because when you get there, you've got to be able to deliberate real quick and decide on the action to take to save a life. So through your mind, it's running. Okay, heart attack. I'll tell you about one heart attack. One heart attack was I was driving ambulances in Monterey, California, and there was a woman at the Hyatt Regency in, yeah, she was still in Monterey. A lot of towns come together right there on the peninsula, and but she was still in Monterey. What they didn't tell us was that she weighed 350 pounds and she was in the bathtub. So there were three of us. We knew it was a heart attack. So when it was a heart attack, a known heart attack, we drove three in the ambulance because it took two back in the back to do CPR, one for the oxygen or ambu bag and one for the compressions, and then the driver. So we took three. And the three of us got there. She's in the bathtub. Oh, my God, wet skin, all that kinds of stuff. Got to get her out of the bathtub onto a gurney. Well, when we got her on the gurney straps couldn't fit around her, so we couldn't buckle her in. We had to go back out to the ambulance, get extender straps, put the extender straps on her to secure her to the gurney. Then we took her out to the ambulance. Well, we couldn't, the three of us had a hard time lifting her up, getting her into the ambulance, so California Highway Patrolman decided he would help. So we had three guys on the back. I was up top, guiding the gurney into the ambulance, and the ambulance has these bars that you push on it. Okay, and what it does is it pulls this back one out, but they're shaped like this, and they go around the legs of the gurney. So the front ones are solid, and you guide the gurney in there. You push on this one, and when you push on it, it actually moves the locking mechanism the opposite direction. So then when you release it, it snaps in place around the leg. And so the highway patrolman lost grip on the gurney, and my hand was guiding the gurney, and it got caught in between this U and the gurney, and it broke three metatarsals. And so I was giving chest compressions through all that fatty tissue, humongous breasts, on it with a broken hand, trying to do compressions and get the sternum down, compressed so that I could get to the heart. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. I never imagined it could be that bad. But it was. But the whole reason that story is plan for the worst. Okay. Imagine in your mind the worst possible thing. And then if you do that, like we did with the ambulance company, if the minute you turn on the sirens, your mind starts racing and you get ready for the worst, then anything you see is better than what you imagined. And you're ready to perform. Does that make sense? Oh no, gosh, who is that? Tammy. That's such a sad story. Oh wow. Okay, number 67. What issue can be the biggest challenge and obstacles to surviving an emergency? The biggest challenge in any survival situation is having to do unpleasant or even terrible things. Okay. Unpleasant things, turning people away from your door who are starving. Unpleasant things, handling your loved one who has passed away from whatever, from disease, from gunshot wound, from starvation, from almost anything. Having to handle the body of a loved one is going to be terrible. And having to, and once the body starts putrefying, that's going to be even worse. So that's why I have personally, and I just did a tip on it. I think it was preparedness tip number 168. Make sure you have body bags so that you can be aware of the fact that you can take care of that. You can get it handled. I was talking to Heather, who has Prepping for the Long Term as a Facebook channel. Great channel, by the way. I strongly recommend that you check it out. But she and I were talking, and I posted that I have body bags, and she said I need to do this. I wonder why people don't talk about this. I think there's a couple of things. Same thing. We're talking about the very same subject, right? There are things that people don't want to discuss because you're either gross or they emotionally can't handle them. We're all going to die. We need a body bag for each person. Okay. If we're going to die, let's take care of that now. People don't want to talk about wills. People don't want to talk about final. My wife and I have pre-planned our funerals. We prepaid for our funerals. Our funerals, our plots, everything is prepaid for. I know exactly how my final rosary and funeral mass are going to go. I've got it planned out. It's taken care of, and they're going to put me down in Pflugerville. It's in the same cemetery with my mom and dad. I mean, we've got it. It's all paid for. My daughter doesn't have to do anything but show up, and my grandchildren. Okay, if they want to, they don't have to. Same thing with Helen. She's all taken care of. People don't do that because it's morbid to think about that in advance, right? But the truth is, we all die at some point. I have body bags. People don't want to think about that. I do, because that's something that we have to take into account. I'm 72. I've got emphysema. I've got 50% disability for my back. I've got problems still with my hip from a total hip replacement. I've got neuropathy in both feet. I am not what you would call a spring chicken. It is time for me to acknowledge the fact that I am not immortal. And the same thing for you. Do that. Think about that. Plan for that. Give instructions. There's an instruction book here that if anything happens to me, it tells Helen exactly what to do in case something happens so that she knows where everything is, how to use it. I mean, we're great. We're in good position, okay? Porta potties. Have you thought about how you're going to handle human waste? If SHTF happens, and if there's no electricity, if there's no water, how are you going to flush the toilet? Where are you going to go to the toilet? How are you going to handle fecal matter and urine? How are you going to dispose of it? That can be one of the causes of a lot of diseases: typhus, typhoid, diphtheria, cryptosporidiosis. I mean, there's so many diseases, it's pitiful, that can be caused by not the improper handling of fecal matter and urine. Get that taken care of. Step up to the plate now and say, hey, that's critical. People are going to die because they are afraid to address the subject now and aren't going to have it handled in an SHTF situation. Get it handled. Luggable loo, available on Amazon. I've got 3 of them. Okay, one for solid waste, one for liquid waste, and one in case one of the others breaks. And I've got all kinds of composting materials for stuff. The book Humanure is fantastic. It can help you to understand what's going to go on there, how to use that as a manure. There's all kinds of stuff you can learn, but people think that's too gross. They don't want to think about it. Okay. Another thing, in the movie Patton, George Patton's talking about when you put your hands into the goo that used to be your best friend's face, you'll know what to do. Well, get some training, okay? I mean, I've had my hand in places I would not want to normally have my hand, but that was because we turned the siren on and my mind was mentally prepared for it. Make sure you have some good gloves, and if you've got to pack a wound, get some gauze, get a roll of gauze, get some folding gauze, and just start sticking your fingers down inside that wound and packing that wound as tight as you can. Get a good compress bandage on it. You're going to put your fingers in places in injuries that you don't want to put your fingers in, okay? It's gross, all that blood. Yes, it is. But the fact of the matter is we've got to deal with it or people will die, okay? So some of the things that we think are gross are some of the things that we have to address. They're going to be the least addressed. Here's a simple one. I go through I think it's a 5-gallon, it might be a 15, but I think it's a 5-gallon tall trash bag about every 3 days, okay? So typically I'm going to have two big tall trash bags that are in my trash can to go out to the curb for the trash collectors to pick up every Tuesday morning. What happens when there's no more trash collection? What do I do with that trash? Okay. Do you realize that if there's 2 bags per week, that means in a year there's 104 bags that are going to be out in my backyard? What's that going to do as far as attracting insects and rodents and wild animals? And what's it going to do as far as in bacterial disease and things like that, and mold and all that other kinds of stuff? How am I going to prevent that? Start thinking about those kinds of things now. So those are the biggest challenges and obstacles, is us not being willing to man up. And I use that as a generic term, not as a gender specific term, but we need to step up to the plate and address a lot of the issues that we think are too gross, too morose, too dirty to talk about. What are the 4 levels of mental reaction to threats and dangers? This is one where I did this one a little bit early because we needed it for the past, and that's denial, deliberation, decision, and then do. So the 4 Ds. And some people call it the 3 Ds and an A, and the last one they say is take action, A, action. But deny, deliberate, decide, action, do something. Okay. Are the rules and paradigms of survival applicable in everyday life? Absolutely. Think everything you're going to do in a survival situation, you do in a daily situation. Anticipate. The light's yellow up ahead, right? Do you step on the gas or do you step on the brake? Okay. There's also what they call, when I was in driver's ed, they call it the stale green light. So always anticipate that green light, if you see it from way down the road, is going to turn yellow at some point before you get to it. So, anticipate things happening. Look at the situations around you, take a look at what's going on and say, this could happen. And if so, how do I react to it? Be aware of your situation around you. Situational awareness is the second one. The third one is be in the present, be here now. Don't let your mind wander off, especially right now during shopping season for Christmas. People have got their bags in their hands, their car keys, their cell phones, everything, and they aren't aware of what's going on around them, and people can get you and mug you and take your stuff and take your car and everything else because you're not paying attention to everything that's going on around you. You should be using higher awareness of your situation right now during prime shopping season before Christmas. Helen and I went to Walmart today, no parking. So we decided we go to H-E-B, the grocery store, no parking. I mean, we had to drive through a couple times to get parking. Think of the opportunity for a bad intentioned person in those kinds of conditions. There's all kinds of people who aren't paying attention to what's going on around them. So one of the things we do, I did a prepper tip on this a long time ago, probably in the first 20 that I did. When we go to Walmart or H-E-B or anywhere else, we get a push cart that has the child safety strap. Okay, we put Helen's purse in the child seat, and then we put the handle, and we put part of that child safety strap through the handle on the other side. We strap Helen's purse into the child seat. That way, anybody who comes up and pulls it and tries to run off, it's stuck. It's tied to the child safety seat. But we're always aware of everything that's going on around us anyway. So, that's another one of those precautions you can take. Just a little tip, something you can do. How do you prevent yourself from being abused? Okay. Stay calm. Evaluate everything that's going on around you. Do the next right thing. Take the next step. Take control. Don't be a victim. Don't say, why is this happening to me? You're the one who's making something happen. You're the one who is causing the reaction, and your reaction is going to cause the other person to react badly because they did not anticipate your reaction. One of those could be, like me, I carry a fighting cane. I need to have a cane for my hip anyway, so why not carry a fighting cane? Okay. No, it's not a sword cane. That's totally different. A sword cane cannot be taken on an airplane. A fighting cane can. It's still considered a medical device. fighting cane is a sword cane is not a medical device. Have what you need. Okay, plan ahead and get the training you need as well. So if you're going to carry concealed or exposed, the head of the Bastrop group, he carries exposed. I carry concealed. He says, why not just let people know you got it? I don't like letting the other person know that. When I pull it, I pull it. I mean it when I pull it. And I haven't had to yet. Hope I never do. But, that's just a difference in style. Oh, look at that. Love Son has an RFID wallet. Great idea. And Sumi says she's been using carabiners to attach her purse to the cart for years. That's great. Suzanne Goulet. Oh, Suzanne, welcome. Good to see you. Doesn't take her purse into stores anymore. It's too risky. Absolutely, especially in the larger cities. Let me see. We're always happy to have you, Suzanne. So let me see. Little and Prepper says they're doing aquamation. They dissolve the body in a capsule with water, heat, and an alkaline solution. They take the used water to municipal water treatment plant. Oh, wow. Huh. Okay. So use what you have and do what you must. Just listen. We're going to, in order to survive, we've got to go back to the mid-19th century, back to the 1850s. Think of yourself as being a frontier person out in the plains, okay, or even a farmer in Missouri, or a gold rush person in Oklahoma or whatever. That's the mindset you've got to have. Sometimes you've got to have that on your hip. You've got to be willing to draw it. You've got to have it locked and loaded and ready to go for self-defense and protection. And sometimes you have to shoot first and ask second. Those are the conditions that it's going to be in a post-SHTF world. Get your mind set for that now, okay? Don't do that now. Get your mind set for that now. No dilly-dallying, okay? Be prepared for that. Number 70. What actions should guide the survivalists in managing personal finances? Number 1, have a budget, okay? Number 2, make plans. A plan without a goal and an end date is not a plan, it's a dream, okay? So make sure you have a goal and an end date for your financial stuff. We're living off of our financial plans now. So actually, I'm spending more money now on a monthly basis because I can than I would have 3 years ago, when I owned the store and was working for profit, okay? Because we planned properly, and so now we can do that. One of the best decisions I made was, back in, I started buying stocks. We had a club through National Association of Investment Clubs. We had a stock club in Augsburg when I was there in 1977. So I started buying stocks, $25 a month. And I was buying fractional shares. $25 would buy maybe a half a share of Ford at the time. But I started buying stocks on what they call the dividend reinvestment plan. Started doing that. And so I did that continuously, $25 a month. Then every time I got a promotion, I would add $5 or $10 to my monthly thing. So when I was in Fuel Station Augsburg, when I started this, I was a staff sergeant. Got promoted to SFC when I was a Goodfellow right after that. Then I got promoted to Master Sergeant when I went to WOBEC. Then I got promoted to Warrant. So, I got up to the point where I was doing like $75 a month investing in stocks. When I was in Augsburg the second time, I started investing in silver, and there was a mail order silver company that I could invest $30 a month in silver. And that was giving me, 2 ounces of silver, and they would ship it to me. And I kept that up. And then when I had my store, I was investing $100 in silver every 2 weeks. So $200 a month in silver and gold. And now that money is 5 times the value of what I paid for it. So that's been a fantastic increase in value. I don't think you're going to get the same increases in value for stocks or for silver and gold that I have, but at least think about it. Think about getting something set aside for that. Think about having a cash reserve. I recommend having at least 1 month's worth of bills in cash in your home. And then if you can get more than that, that would be fantastic. Avoid using credit cards unless you pay them off. We use our Costco card. We only use it for one thing, that's for Costco gas. Costco gas is the cheapest there is in this area. Plus, we get a 5% discount when we use our Costco credit card. Excuse me. The rest of the time, we use our USAA credit card, which gives us 3% cash back on everything. So, and then I charge everything to my Amazon card, and my Amazon card gives me 5% cash back on everything I do there. So look for those things, but don't carry a balance. Pay it off each month, okay? Pay it off each month. Use the, on my American Express Gold card, they have the same thing, 5% cash back. I just let those points sit there. And then if I want to get something that I really haven't budgeted or planned for, I can use my reward points to get something that I really, really want, okay, or need. Ignore society's values and your own ego and vanity. You don't have to have a Cadillac. You don't have to have, my pickup truck is 5 years old, okay? Helen's car is 5 years old. You don't need a new car every year. My pickup has 29,000 miles on it after 5 years. Helen's car has 33,000 after 5 years. So get what works for you. You don't have to have the latest and best of everything, except knives and guns. But do without or with less early in life. Yes, I gave a class when I was teaching the MI Officer Advanced course, and it was a brand new class that I designed. It was only 1 hour, and I was talking to the lieutenants, these brand new second lieutenants out of college and out of the military academy. They were there for basic MI Officer course, and it was called a beer today or a steak tomorrow. And it was just the idea of the time value of money. The best time to start saving is when you're young, because regardless of what the interest rate is, the time value increasing over time is going to be your buddy. The longer you have it, the more it's going to increase in value. So if you're young, if you got an opportunity to put into a 401k or a 403b, do it now. The more you can, the better off you'll be. Avoid frivolous and non-essential expenses. Anything other than, frivolous and non-essential. So just, there was an advertisement for a knife today. I said, God, that looks like a great knife. And I clicked on the link from Facebook to check out the knife, and it was only $29.95. And I thought, I'm not going to spend $29.95 on a knife. It can't be that good for that price, So that would have been frivolous. I don't need that. But then again, sometimes you make mistakes. For example, my IC7300, my ICOM, my HF ham radio, I saved $200 by ordering it from Japan, but I paid for that $200. It does not have the 80 meter band. The Japanese, this is programmed for Japanese ham operators, not for American ham operators. So the 80 meter, which is down around 2.5 megahertz, okay, 2,500 kilohertz, that doesn't exist on this radio. I have to have it reprogrammed. So I tried to save $200 by buying a Japanese model radio. Now I have to spend $300 in shipping and fees to have it reprogrammed, send it off to ICOM, have them reprogram it and put the chip in so that I can receive the 80 meter band. It's crazy. So sometimes you try to save money and you end up costing yourself money. Just get what you need, okay? The job comes first. Your career is always number one. Make yourself a valuable survival asset. Get on the collection side of the equation, and getting out of debt, stay out of debt. Anybody who owes money is a slave, okay? That's all there is to it. Make sure you take a look at risk versus rewards. I can invest in things now because I can afford to lose a little bit of money. Don't want to lose any money, but I could afford to lose a little bit. I lost a little bit in my radio. But always think, if this doesn't turn out the way that I want it to, and I lose the money, can I afford to lose the money? Or will it cause family hardship or me hardship? If you can't afford to lose it, don't invest it in something speculative, okay? Okay, I think we'll stop there. We only got 10 done. I told you they were going to be kind of difficult. So we'll pick back up at number 71 next week. Don't forget, Saturday, we're going to have John Grammer on. We're going to be talking about Drifters, which is book 4 in his America Overrun series. Great story. It's a high school athletic team that goes down to another city for a competition. SHTF happens while they're there. All the electricity's gone. They've got a bus. Not enough fuel in the bus for it to make it all the way back to their home. So how do they split up? How do they get back? Do they stay there? How do they find a place to stay? Then at the same time, this is in an area where there's a lot of extremist Mormonist groups who are out to control people like them. And so there's this conflict naturally built up. Great book. Lots of intrigue. Strongly recommend it. Let me get through the chat here and then we'll close it out. So I sent my friend a link to a no premium junk silver sale 2 months ago. He didn't move off dead center, and silver's up over 40% since then. What a, oh gosh. I scored a bunch of saddle fenders and going to try and turn them into chest armor. Sounds like a winner to me. Made sure I had no debt before I retired a year ago. Best peace of mind, absolutely. My wife is wonderful at managing our finances. I've got to give her total credit. We are where we are because of her and her managing of the finances. So I don't see the checkbook. I don't. I have my debit card. I have my credit card. I tell her what I'm going to do, and she tells me yes or no. Usually, she tells me yes. A couple times, she said, "Think about it." Okay, think about it's basically her way of saying no. Come back tomorrow for another no. Just don't have debt. If you're going to use a credit card, pay it off every month. Don't carry a balance. I mean, I've seen 19 and 29% interest rates. Those are atrocious. You don't want to pay those. Let me see. Multi-use items are great to invest in. Thank you for bringing that up there, little prepper. Thank you, Scott Hummer. Merry Christmas to you as well and to your family. Let me tell you something, Sumi. I have found out that I've got more obligations by being retired than I do by not being retired. I'm meeting with the county emergency management tomorrow. I'm helping them. We're getting a CERT group for the county here. I'll be one of the trainers for that. So we're getting that organized. I'll be meeting with them tomorrow. I've got a meeting with my team, my group here in Williamson County, and that's the following Tuesday. And then St. Vincent de Paul keeps me very busy. I've got I'm the disaster manager for management response manager for our St. Vincent de Paul chapter. So that keeps me busy. I teach the conversion class, so that keeps me busy. And then my daily worship keeps me extremely busy. I'm so happy I have the free time to worship the way that I think I need to. That's a big thing for me. Where am I? Where's Exodus? Where are you? There we go. Numbers. Okay, so we'll see you Saturday night. Remember, Exodus chapter 6, verses 24, 25, 26. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord let his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord look upon you kindly and grant you peace. Remember that we're all in this together, so we can come out the other side together. Make plans. Okay. Practice those plans. Be kind, polite, respectful to each other, and we'll get through this together, because togetherness is the key. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.